friend in New York City. He never called me by my name, just Hillbilly.
You're listening to The Forgotten Men, the radio show that believes in the citizen statesman. And we have some of those popping up and emerging all around the country, and especially here in our vicinity of Frederick, Maryland. We're going to go ahead and go right to our guest that we are pleased to have on the show. His name is Michael Jablonski, and he's the founder of theforgottenman.org. Michael, thanks for being on with us today.
Hey, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. So please tell all of our listeners, we got into it a little bit on the first half of the show, but please tell all of our listeners why you started theforgottenman.org.
Well, what happened was I actually heard about the book, The 5,000 Year Leap, through Glenn Beck on his radio show. And I read the book, and I was really moved by what I learned and what I was amazed of the things that I didn't learn through high school and college. So what I did was I started a little book club to read it, and we got anywhere from, 15 to 30 people to come to our book club meetings, and everyone had the same reaction from people, in their 20s until their 60s that just realized what they didn't know.
Yeah.
So
right.
The main thing we decided to do was put together theforgottenman.org and put together a system where people could go to the website and learn how to start their own book clubs reading the 5,000 Year Leap, and also start scholarship programs in their area based on the 5,000 Year Leap.
Yeah. You said something, Michael, that caught my attention right out of the gate. It's amazing how much we were not taught in school. And it takes sort of this extraneous reading to figure out what we don't know. But then that sort of is the beginning of the trek for all of us, is first acknowledging and coming to realize what we don't know. And there is a lot that is, I don't know if it's been intentionally hidden from us or it's just sort of fallen by the wayside over the years. But it is amazing the lack of constitutional knowledge out there by the average citizen.
And when when I first got a hold of the 5,000 Year Leap, I read through it, and I kind of explained to people when I was recommending that they read it that what you're going to see on the pages, they don't jump out at you as anything that you don't instinctively know, but you get to put your finger on where it kind of came from.
Exactly. I sort of liken the book to an affirmation.
Yeah.
Like you just said, there's definitely things in your gut that are right and wrong, and things that we can notice that are wrong instinctively. And that book was written to, as an overview to explain the outlook of the Founding Fathers and how they wanted the country to run and how they went about writing the Constitution.
Right.
And again, whether it was intentional or unintentional, it doesn't matter. The ramifications are the same. The vast majority of people don't know this stuff, and I feel that it's really important that we hold, our elected officials accountable,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really hard to do that if we don't know the chains that the Constitution put on our elected officials. It's really hard to hold them to account if we don't know the parameters that they're supposed to be acting within.
Yeah, Michael, I'll tell you, you're right on target there. And, going back to what you and Joshua both said, it's exactly why the founders in the Declaration of Independence said we hold these truths to be self-evident. They're intuitive to us that all men were created equal and endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, and amongst them are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. These are self-evident truths that are in us, and they're planted there by God. So that when we do hear, we read the 5,000 Year Leap, you're right, they jump out and they say, you're right, that's how it's supposed to be, that's how it's supposed to be. And then you look around and you realize, oh, it ain't that way.
We're a little off course here.
We're a little off, exactly. So I'll tell you, you just mentioned holding our officials accountable. One of the things that we've seen, and it's not a surprising phenomenon around here, I suppose you're probably seeing it where you are too, Michael, is how many politicians are now carrying around pocket constitutions and pulling them out at any given moment and saying, see, I carry mine.
Exactly, and I think it's amazing that the Constitution, if you have a pocket Constitution, it's half the thickness of a checkbook.
Yeah.
And we've been able to run the country for over 200 years based on that.
Yep.
And if you compare that to what the bills that are going through Congress right now that are actually inches thick of 8.5 by 11 paper versus a little pocket Constitution, it's not that complicated. And I really recommend if people do read the 5,000 Year Leap, you will go through that, and there were a couple times, I mean, not to sound hokey, but I actually got goosebumps because you could read the words of the Founding Fathers, and they're so prophetic. They totally knew if we didn't follow what they put down in the Constitution, we were going to run into problems.
Yes.
And those problems are they're not things that change with time because the Constitution addresses human behavior. So if you read that stuff and our officials know it and the public knows it, things I think with time will self-correct themselves. But this has been going on for a while, so it's not going to be an immediate turnaround. It's going to take a little bit of time.
So what are you at theforgottenman.org? Again, theforgottenman.org, not to be confused with the Forgotten Men radio show. What are you at theforgottenman.org encouraging people to do, and what tools have you put in place?
Well, great. Thanks for asking. We're doing a couple things. One, myself and the group of guys, John Young and Jason Roberts, that helped me put the site together. We're running a scholarship program in the Cleveland area, which is where we're based. But we also have two other really good tools on the site. One is we put together a really, really cool study guide for the 5,000-year leap.
Great.
So if someone wants to start a book club that's never done it before, and it could be a little bit cumbersome and the meetings maybe are a little awkward, you could go to our website, you could download the study guide. It's about 20 pages. And then that will help guide you through your book club meetings as a way to point out the things that we think are important in the book, and it also helps promote conversation. So if someone's never done it before, they're sitting there with 10 or 15 people they don't know, nobody wants to talk and stuff like that until they get to know each other a little bit.
Sure.
So that's one of the tools we have is the study guide that we put together. Then the other thing is what we did is we looked at our scholarship program that we're running in Cleveland, and we thought this would be cool if everyone in the country knew how to do this themselves. So Mrs. Jones in San Diego could go to theforgottenman.org and go to our education tab and download a blank scholarship application. And she and her friends, or a local 912 group or a Tea Party group or the PTA or whatever, can download the application and hand it out to students in their area and have them read the 5,000-year leap. We also have judging criteria for the kids that write the essay. So we pretty much hold your hand. If you want to have a little scholarship in your area, raise a few $100, a few $1,000 for your kids in your high school, you could go to our website and learn how to do it.
Yeah.
And then they could also contact us with questions and things like that. And we realized since my appearance on Glenn's show a few months ago, there's probably at least 15 or 20 that we're aware of, little groups around the country that are doing the book clubs and the scholarships. And what we're hoping is to teach as many high school kids as possible about the words in the 5,000-year leap before they go off to college.